Morning, this is Gordon from Bailey Built. Jim asked me to do a little walkie-talkie on his new rig we just got finished with. We had our reveal on it yesterday, so it is now public.
Bailey, we give you the DEUCE!
So it's a 66, and Jim actually bought back his original Bronco, his very first Bronco he ever owned. Had the guys out at Wild Horses take it all apart. So the frame that we have on this thing is his very first Bronco frame. I had a 66 tub at the house, so this is what we use for the tub. We've narrowed the tub 6 inches down, and we cut 3 inches out each side to narrow it out. And the grill usually has one more of the ribs in it than what this grill has, but the ribs are 6 5/8, so the front's pinched just a slight bit. When we cut the grill down, we recenter the FORD in the grill, which makes packaging of all this cooling system a bigger challenge. I've got the radiator moved all the way to the driver's side that I can get it moved over, so I have one set of grills that gives us feeds the cold air intake. We go to the cold air intake straight into a turbocharger, which we're doing a system called blowing through a Holley Sniper. You can get away with running no intercooler when you go blow through a Holley Sniper because the fuel atomizes at the blades, and that gives its own cooling whenever the fuel evaporates or whatever. It actually cools the air charge. So first time I got to do turbocharged, so this is exciting here. I had Stanley Morton out of STK in Broken Arrow build the Powerplant for us. It's what we call a 357. We started with a 351 Windsor and did a 30 over bore, H-beam rods and forged pistons. And whenever I brought all the parts over, Jim sent me what their top end kit is. And then I took all that stuff over to Stanley, and Stanley hands me the cam box, and he goes, "I'm not putting this cam in this thing, go get me a turbo specific cam." So I take that over to my speed shop, and we pick out the cam that the RPM works best with what the intention of the rig is built for. So Powerplant's built 4 turbo. We have a 700 R4 behind it, and we have a 4.3 Atlas behind that. Those go down and feed the Spider Trax axle housings. I start with a blank housing, and I put my own knuckles on the front and cut and move the third member where I want it. I can set my pinion angle where I want, and I can set all my caster up how I want to enhance the suspension and the geometry of the suspension. That kind of goes back through a 3-link in the front that all the links are I buy rod and then have those machined to lengths that I need them to be machined to. No kits are used here. The only kit that I can kind of say that I used is from PSC Steering. I use their components, but I do all my own hydraulic lines and then kind of modify what I get from them. Stock steering on rigs is usually like 28 to 30 degrees. I have 43 degrees of steering. This is something that will make it better on the trail, and he can drive and do corners where other guys might have to pull up and back up to do a corner. He'll just turn the wheel and go around a corner. Like I say, we have Hydro Boost brakes, which is the Moab brake kit from Wild Horses. We got, like I say, they provided the Sniper kit, the heads, did the Optima battery, 12-inch coilovers all the way around. Jim allowed me to play with the paint on the hood in the center of the car. The side stripes we did as a tribute to Nightmare Bronco, so the sides were kind of depicted for us, but I was allowed to change up and play with the stripes down the center of the hood. And if you come by and look at it carefully, it's really hard to video it, but there's ghost stars, there's patches of ghost stars all the way through the center of the car. And all down the tailgate, the door panels have ghost stars, and the dashboard has ghost stars in it also. So they're real subtle, but a guy that's paying attention to paint, he gets to see the fun little carrots. So as we come around, we've got 40-inch tall stickies. They're Mickey Thompson stickies on the Hutchison bead locks. Like I say, I have 12 inches of wheel travel on all 4 corners. They're 12-inch coilovers with the bypass. I've got the air bump stops on the front to take out whenever you get going too fast in the dunes and have the ha-ohs. So we got that taken care of. With some of the features, and everybody who off-roads understands how hot the body gets when you're trail riding all day long. So in the back of the hood, I've introduced air intake in the cowl and duct hood. I've run that through the tunnel and down, and it dumps in on the top of the bell housing of the transmission. So as you're driving, the windshield becomes a high pressure zone, so it's forcing air over the top or around the car. So now we have a hole for it to hide and go down in. So we're introducing cool air into the transmission tunnel. So the floors in this car should not really ever get hot, because even when you're sitting still, the air is going to go the other way because heat rises. So even when you're sitting on the trail, it'll start sucking air in around the belly pan, and then the heat will come out the vent. Also, heat's always a problem in the Broncos. So we did a air scoop on the roof, a real low profile air scoop. And then in the aluminum roof, I did some dimple dies. And I have the dimples going up, so if you get caught in light rain, it's not going to rain in on you in the car. It's an open side car, so if you get caught in the bad rain, it doesn't matter if it leaks in the middle, because you're going to be wet anyway. So in packaging of the car, since it's narrowed, we put a set of Wild Horses seats in it with heated seats. The center console become where I only had 4 inches to work, so we had to package cup holders, an armrest, and an automatic shifter for the transmission. I have the armrest where it raises up and stays up. I got a little tension built on it so it will never rattle. And then if you're getting ready in the morning and you're trying to stick your bottle in your cup holder, you don't have to fight fiddle fart with the cup holder arm coming back down and making you frustrated trying to get loaded up to go on a trail. The dashboard, we've gotten like the whole entire instrument cluster. We'll walk around and keep on going on that here in a few minutes. But I took the instrument cluster out of the driver's side, and we put speakers in the dash itself, and then the tweeters are on the surface. Right behind the seats, we have the subwoofer with the amp. That is sitting on top of what I call the dresser. We have a dresser set up where if you have a speed toolbox, the toolbox slides in the bottom, and then in the top of it, if you have a carnage welder, it's space for the carnage welder. There's a thumb screw that keeps it closed, and then there's a hole if you want to put a lock on it to keep the honest people honest. I did not finish the cooler in time, but my stripes, I'm known for my stripes going like all the way through a car. Like they come off of the hood, up the windshield cowl, they go down the dashboard. The grab handle that's on the dashboard has the stripe going through it, and the stripe comes all the way through to the back and then cycles off. Our cooler, when we get done, the cooler lid will be striped to match the stripe, so when you look through the car, it's all the way there. On the rear axle, we're down to another one of the Spider Trax housings. I run high nines front and rear. We have 488 gears in it with a 40-inch tall tire. That ought to be just a great solid gear ratio. With the automatic transmission, we can wheel with it, leave it in drive and let the automatic do what you want, or you can pull it down and hold it in lower gear if you're on a really hairy obstacle. The shifter is located in the center console, where as your arm is on the armrest where your hand sits, you're right there. So if you're like on a hairy obstacle and the front end starts to lift, you can just bump to neutral and then let the front settle, and if it gets really going over backwards, you can bump to reverse and never have to worry about hitting park. Say with the tailgate being narrowed, we move the FORD and move it inboard. We move the license plate inboard, so everything's still symmetrical. It's just narrower than what it normally is. Rear bumper is a Bailey built bumper. We of course had to cut it off and then reconfigure it for the big old tires and the narrowed body. So that's exactly what we normally build, just kind of cut down to fit the narrowed body. We have Radflow shocks on all 4 corners, and I get those through Liberty Mountain Off-Road, and he does my valving for me, so these are already pre-valved for how I like my off-road vehicles to ride and perform. Everybody who runs a fuel cell in their car, you have to get in the bed of your Bronco, and you got to spill gas in your Bronco and everything else. So we did a remote filler, and I went one step farther and did a little dribble tank here, and then it's got a drain. The drain exceeds the floor, so if you spill gas, it drains onto the ground. It doesn't swamp your car. If it gets rained in, it drains on the ground, so it doesn't swamp your car. And then our cooler will have a drain on it also that will drain onto the ground, so whenever the ice melts, the water just drips on the ground instead of swamping the bed of the cooler, or like nobody likes soggy sandwiches. So you got to get rid of the water somehow. With doing the build, taking 6 inches out of the body is like this much when you're talking about interior. So we have taken and moved the interior door panels down 5 inches in the door. And then we open the door panel up to make a storage area. So if you're wheeling in the morning and you know it's cool, you can take your jacket off and stuff it in the doors and have like a stick-it place. You really wouldn't want to carry anything big and heavy in the doors because they're doors. But that gives you a place to have a couple of towels or like say, stuff a jacket, carry a rain suit, something like that in the doors. There's a little small cubby hole under the dash in front of the transfer case shifters. I'm not going to do it in the video, but my guy who does my programming, the computer screen for the dashboard, he also ran the stripe down the center of the computer screen. Whenever it's on, it is like so cool because the blue and the red and the white is all still lights up for the deal. As you're inside looking in the car here, you'll notice that it's got weird brake pedals inside. We have, of course, the throttle pedal and the normal brake pedal. The normal brake pedal acts as a normal brake pedal. The 2 pedals out the board that are in the clutch position, we call those cut brakes. You can, with them close together like they are, you can step on just the cut brakes. You can step on both pedals and you get both rear brakes working together. If you want to turn hard to the left, you go to neutral in your transfer case on the rear axle, and you have front drive only, and you can step on the left rear brake, turn left, it'll drag the left brake tire so it helps you turn tighter, faster. So if you're in like you don't want to back up and you're like on a tree, you can do a front dig and like pull the front end sideways with these cut brakes. But if you're driving it normal on the highway, you just use the other brake pedal like normal, and you'd never know that you're doing anything weird. So the doors we cut down, with the body being narrow, you don't have any room for arms and armrests and stuff. So, and one of the problems with the Bronco, as everybody knows, this pinch weld comes all the way up to the top of the door jamb, and it gets you right in the armpit every time, and it makes your eyes water whenever that happens. So I didn't want to make Jim's eyes water. So we've cut in with doing the drop on the door jamb. I cut into the door jamb and made an elbow rest. So all that ouchie is taken out, and we made it into some comfortable stuff. I've integrated a handle into the doors, so as you're trail riding, I hang out the door like a dog looking at my front tire more than I do looking out the windshield. So I figured we might as well, and this armrest is intentionally 1.5 inches lower than the one on the inside. So when you lean out, your elbow's lower. So it's comfortable, and right where your hand comes forward, you got a handle. Whenever Mitch drew the paint job on the computer, he gave me white on white stripes that he wanted included in the paint job. So I pulled white on white stripes off. The pearl coat on this is our breaker for the white on white stripes. So if a guy's walking by this thing and not really paying much attention, he doesn't see that it's got a white stripe too for the red, white, and blue. We did aluminum roof on it. As we referenced a little bit earlier, I got my Bailey built decal delivered to me here at Supercell. So it will have a Bailey built decal / Wild Horses decal on the roof. So whenever Jim gains an obstacle, you get to see his roof decal. So the higher he stands this thing up, the better it shows. So, well, that's the build.